Okay, so hi Missy, my name is Eunice.
Hi, I'm Mark.
Hi, my name is Christopher Cliff.
My name is Willie.
Hi, my name is Amy.
Hi, my name is Jeremy.
And today we're gonna talk about our Malaysian political parties and the general election in 2018. Okay, so let's start our presentation. Let's invite Mark.
Okay, so later on I'll show you a video about the Malaysian election process around 2 minutes. I would say it's a roughly this idea, the process lah. Because this video is very, very low cost because I didn't really put any makeup, didn't really change a lot of costume, didn't shoot the video at many places. So, yeah. I hereby to announce that the 14th general election will be held on 9th of May 2018. Vote me. Vote Apple. I promise I'll remove the toffee. Vote Apple. No more GST. Vote for a better future. Vote Pineapple. I hereby to announce the final result of the voting for G14. Apple Party, 113 seats. Pineapple Party, 79 seats. Others and independent parties, 26 seats. Okay, so this is the rough process of election of Malaysia. So how's Cliff? I think Cliff countries is almost the same, right?
Yeah, it's actually very similar. And um, in my country, we vote first. We call it choblos. Choblos is we take a nail, then we like poke it in the box of the politic what is it, of the guy that you choose, the yeah. So there are many boxes with each of their faces from each representative from each parties, and we just need to poke on the square, like the head or anything. But we cannot poke twice. And after that, we put our finger to the ink. Yeah, it's very similar.
For Malaysian, we are cross. We
Oh, you
cross
cross.
the party. Yeah, cross.
Oh, when I was 6 years old, we also did the cross thing. But in Indonesia, we also have a few of stupid and impolite people. They tend to draw in the paper, like making funny drawings, like making mustache, adding like inappropriate drawings. So now we use the the nail to poke the picture.
Okay, so now we have a short activity. Thank you, Mark. We now have a short activity for Cliff. Cliff, would you present?
All right.
We have prepared a word search for Cliff to actually play with us, and each time he crosses out a word, one of us will have to explain what's about the keyword to him.
Is it showing?
Yes, we can see the screen. but we can't see the word search yet. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, now okay, right.
All right. So let's start. Cliff, now you can cross out a word, and we're kind of scared right now.
Easy.
Wow, you cross out Mahathir first.
Mahat.
Okay, that's me. Okay, so let me tell you a few facts about Mahathir. His real name is Datuk Seri Mahathir bin Mohamad. He was born in Kedah he was not that yet, sorry. He's born in Kedah in 1925. Okay, he served as the prime minister twice. He was the fourth and the seventh prime minister in the history of Malaysia. Okay, he was a physician during his young when he was young. He studied to become a doctor, and he's still a doctor. Okay, and then he was active in UMNO, and he actually served one term in the parliament as as a minister of education. But after falling out with Tunku Abdul Rahman, he was expelled from UMNO. Tunku Abdul Rahman is our first prime minister. But after the resignation of Tunku Abdul Rahman, he rejoined UMNO again. And then after a few terms of him being a minister, after the resignation of Tun Hasin On, which is our third prime minister, he became our fourth prime minister. He was actually called as the Bapa Pemodernan, which is the father of modern Malaysia, because he was active in developing Malaysia into a modern country. He turned Malaysia from a country which was focused in only agricultural into a modern city. Do you know that he actually he's the one responsible for the building of the Petronas Twin Towers?
No.
Yep, he's the one responsible in the development of that building, and he was also responsible for the development of the Formula One Grand Prix, which was the first in our country, a race car track. Yeah. And then he's also the one who announced Vision 2020, or which we're known as Wawasan 2020, claiming that Malaysia would aim to become a fully developed country within 30 years, which we didn't achieve because it's already 2020. We're still not that developed. And then Mahathir was actually a full supporter of Najib. He was some sort of a mentor to him because they were in the same party, which we call as Barisan Nasional. He was in Barisan Nasional, and he actually trained. He trained Najib to become a prime minister. But then, because of his corruption scandals, Najib's corruption scandals, and the 1MDB scandal, he also became one of the supporter of the call of pulling Najib down from his seat. And then his drama with Anwar Ibrahim. Anwar Ibrahim is actually one of the main leader of the party which was involved in Pakatan Harapan, which is the party, later we'll talk about it. And then he actually he kicked Anwar out of Barisan Nasional and made him land into jail because of some scandals and corruption too. And then there was some sort of friction between Anwar Ibrahim and Mahathir. So, but then in the end, they kind of made a deal. Mahathir joined in the coalition of Pakatan Harapan, and he kind of made a deal with Anwar to grant him royal pardon for him to get out of jail, and will pass the prime minister seat over to him. But for now, we still haven't seen that. So we'll see what the future holds for Anwar Ibrahim and Mahathir for now, because the prime minister seat is already passed on to Muhyiddin. Do you have any?
Oh, so I just knew that Mahathir is not like he has been the prime minister before.
Yeah, Mahathir is actually prime minister twice.
Twice.
Yeah,
Oh,
he was
so
the
wait.
fourth prime
So
minister
you
and the
mean
seventh prime minister.
I mean, by you mean twice is how long is one period?
Around it's supposed to be around 5 years.
Like in
But
my country, the maximum period for someone to be a president is 2 periods, which is 10 years.
oh,
Yeah, and
okay.
now
Yeah.
Mr. Jokowi, the current president, he is now on his second year of his second period. So he already finished the first period, and he already finished his ongoing on his second period, and after this, that's it. He can't run for president again.
Oh, okay. No, okay.
No, is it no or no?
No.
All right,
No.
No.
all right.
All right, and I'll be presenting for the UMNO part. Wait. Also, okay. Basically, now I'll be talking about UMNO, and this is the UMNO's flag. Okay, so basically, UMNO is one of the biggest party, main national political party, and it is the founding member of Barisan Nasional, which is UMNO, MIC, and MCA is under Barisan Nasional. One for Malay, one for India, and one for Chinese. So during the 2018 election, right? So UMNO lose and Pakatan Harapan won the election. So actually, before this, all of the people in UMNO they won for the every election until Mahathir. He is the one who won the 2018 election. The one and only person who won from Pakatan Harapan. So he is the one and only who represents the Pakatan Harapan to win. If not before this, all the representative is from UMNO. Do you kind of understand? So basically, UMNO is actually founded in 11 May 1946. And then actually UMNO is, their goals is to uphold the aspirations of Malay nationalism, and the concept of Ketuanan Melayu, which is actually this party is for basically Malays. Yeah, it's kind of short, but can you like understand? Like actually, UMNO is under Barisan Nasional, and Barisan Nasional is the combination. Basically, if we put it simple, basically Barisan Nasional is the combination of UMNO, MIC, and MCA. UMNO is for Malay, MIC is for Indian, and MCA is for Chinese.
Okay. So Pakatan Harapan is another party.
Pakatan
Yeah.
is another party. Yeah.
No,
Later,
yeah.
it's
We'll explain further.
yeah, you will explain further. Barisan Nasional and Pakatan Harapan are two different coalitions. Coalitions is a combination
no,
of
I know.
parties. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's challenge you with one word, with the word we want you to find.
All right.
Okay, let's see what can we tell you. Okay, try to find National Front. National Front is Barisan Nasional, but actually Barisan Nasional is too long. That's why I shorten it.
Also, it's translated in English.
National Front or Alliance.
National Front or?
You just find National Front.
All right.
Okay, so Barisan Nasional is about is my part, and that's where Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad comes in. And actually, Tun Dr. Mahathir is a prime minister before, like just now saying, and as a leader of the Barisan Nasional for 22 years, in fact, and from 1981 until he stood down in 2003. And he was also something of a mentor of Mr. Najib. Okay, so but 2 years ago, he was like shocked everyone by saying he was so embraced by the corruption and allegation that he was leaving his old party, which is Barisan Nasional. and would join the opposite, because Barisan Nasional and Pakatan Harapan is a two different thing, and there was something like the opposition.
They're like going against each other, right?
Sorry,
They're going against each other, right?
against each other. Yeah, and for Tun Dr. Mahathir is a political survivor, and how I want to pronounce Najib. Okay, the past prime minister, which is Najib Razak, is a prime minister who was defeated by his mentor, which is Dr. Mahathir. Okay, so then in January, this didn't mention which year, he said he would really challenge his former mentee in the election, and saying he felt confident of victory unless Najib Razak is cheats. Because when Najib is prime minister, he was cheating a lot. Okay, and there were a lot of cheating. Yes, about the allegation during the election, people said that didn't get their like postal ballots, and the government reject some constituencies in a way like critics said would help it win. So the government also jumped on the global, and the fake news panic and rush through a law which means you could be jailed for sharing it. Okay, so some people thought there was a way of shutting down criticism of the government, and Mr. Mahathir has even been charged under the law. Yeah, so this is the story of National Front, which is Barisan Nation. Okay, this is one of the part lah. So the other word will be another part. So you can continue.
All right. Mm. It's democracy.
Democracy. Okay.
So I'm going to talk about the democracy. So I got four major factors to share for you for this demography. These four major factors have been identified as constitution the prime of Pakatan Harapan and the fall of Barisan Nasional in the election. So these are the existence of a credible representative and a strong opposition with the inclusion of Mahathir and also two Malay Bumiputra political parties. So the another major factors is also the rupture of the elites within the ruling regimes. The represent of the impactful issues surrounding Najib administration and also the advancement of the information and technology. So that are the democracy I want to share with you.
All right. So basically, uh, democracy is more. Uh, you can see democracy more when Pakatan Harapan is more dominant, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So National Front is like the bad guy of Malaysia.
Not really the bad guy. Actually, I could explain more to you about Barisan Nasional. Actually, Barisan Nasional, they have been quite the good guy for a few in the past years, because they were our first coalition, and it was meant to be a united front for our nation, because it's the first party and the first coalition, the first coalition in Malaysia, and it involves most of our races. So it was a good party until there were corruption within the coalition.
Oh, and when was the corruption started? Like the big scandal thing?
I think the corruption started around the years of Mahathir and the Tun Abdullah Ahmad Badawi. Yes,
Okay.
during the fourth or fifth prime
fourth.
minister reign. You can you find bribes?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, you found it. Wow, that's fast.
Yeah.
Okay, Mark.
Okay, so for bribes, there's a controversial saying that there's a last minute bribes goodie by BN, Barisan National Party, to win over the voters. Because at the last
When
minute,
was it? When was it? During which election?
during GE14, general election 2018, last
Okay.
election. Yeah, they say Dato Sri Najib, the Barisan National leader, they say if they won the election, they will give all the young people who age 26 and below an exemption of the income tax from the year 2017. So that means they will give back the money to those who had already paid the taxes. So it's quite attracting people because with the money, and so they say it's kind of bribes to them. Yeah, and someone also asking where will the money comes from, because you already receive the money and you use for the country. How will you return it? Yeah, so there's a controversial between this about the bribes.
All right. So like, oh wait, was it Najib who were trying to offer the tax return?
Yep, that
Oh,
during the
so
before the election, they promised to like a promise
right,
before
right.
the yeah.
Actually, the promises of Barisan Nasional is to make the nations our citizens' wallet thicker. That's what they say. They offer a lot of
Yeah.
money, a lot of reductions, and a lot of money. Like seriously.
Oh, but the thing is, they can't. They're not able to 100% fulfill their promises, right?
Yes, some of this
Oh, okay.
manifesto is just there for show.
Yeah.
Do you have any similar cases in Indonesia, like bribes, where where the government is trying to attract the citizens to vote for them or to support them?
I mean, what I see, where like there are many over promising, what is it? Over promising,
Manifestos.
yeah, that kind of thing where for example, even in Mr. President Jokowi era, before he was voted to be president, he said that Indonesia is very independent, and during his era, if he is the president, we won't need to import stuff again from outside because we have everything in Indonesia already. But the truth is, it is very impossible because it will also destroy the economy. And and during the last, which is last year or last 2 years of election, the last one, um, the same thing was said by the opposing party of Mr. Jokowi, of the current president, that we won't import stuffs again. But it's all impossible if that is the kind of bribes that you were saying here.
That's a weird manifesto, actually. I mean, like, is importing stuff that bad?
No, I mean, for example, rice. We import tons of rice every year from
Oh,
Thailand,
okay.
but actually we have a lot of paddy fields in Indonesia.
Thank you for Malaysian student to share your understanding for the Malaysia General Election 2018, and thanks for Christopher to share your understanding for President election of Indonesia. I believe Christopher also learned a lot of process and history of Malaysia general election, and I also get to understand what difference and how president election happen in Indonesia. I think this was a great opportunity and a good platform to sharing, to discussion, and to learning for the election between two countries. Thank you very much.